Barles is a French commune in the Alpes-de-Haute-Provence department in the Provence-Alpes-Côte d'Azur region of southeastern France. The inhabitants of the commune are known as Barlatans or Barlatans. Geography. The village is located at an altitude of 987 meters in the Barles Valley, some 30 kilometers north by northeast of Digne-les-Bains and 30 kilometers south by southeast of Gap. Access to the commune is by the D900 road from Verdeix in the east, which passes through the village and continues south to Esclangen. The D7 road also comes from Orsay in the northeast and joins the D900 on the eastern border of the commune. Mapping. A list of online mapping systems can be displayed by clicking on the coordinates in the top right-hand corner of this article. Neighboring communes and villages. Relief. Barles is very compartmentalized, divided into valleys separated by high mountains and steep ridges. The Barles Valley links these valleys but cut by water gaps. It was not a means of travel for many decades, and most travel was on foot and mule along mule tracks via the heights. Between Barles and Verdeix is the summit of Marzink at 1,934 meters, and, further north, the Temples. This ridge is passable at the Col des Temples. The peak of Valo is in the western part of the commune and between Barles and Bayonnes of the peaks of Chana and Oratoire, both located outside the commune. Farther south are the summits of Clochino, the summits and Lorpia-Tourturo. A little further south is the Col de la Clapaus, deep in the valley of the Descours stream, which gives access to the valley of Espère and Le Bâti. South of Manges is the peak of China-Rabanu. Many places are named after this peak: Bergeret de Chine, Old Heart of Chine, Collet de Chine, and Bar de Chine between. Further south, on the border between Barles and La Robin-sur-Galaba, the main peaks of the summit of Nibbles are Petit Cloche at 1,909 meters, and Grande Cloche de Barles at 1,885 meters, which is at the beginning of a long ridge oriented east-west. This ridge is crossed only by the Pas de Pierre and ends at the Barles water gap. This water gap goes to the other side of the Barles under the name of Serre de la Croix and passes near the Barles via the Pas du Château. The valley of St. Clement is closed to the south by the ridge and in the north by the Proussier Ridge. The Dow, a promontory of Blayeul, also known as the Quatre Termes, is located between the communes of Barles, Verdeix, Esclangen and Beaujeu. Hydrography. The Barles River passes through the commune and the village, flowing west from Verdeix and continuing south to join the Bléony at Plander, Taos, and LT. Ref equals Google and GT. Many tributaries flow into the right bank of the Barles in the commune. From east to southwest these are the Raven de Charoui, the Torrent de Valo, the Descours, the Raven du Pilat, the Gros Favon. Environment. The commune has 862 hectares of woods and forests. Localities and hamlets. Natural and technological risks. None of the 200 communes in the department is in a no-seismic risk zone. The canton of Saint, to which Barles belongs, is in Area 1B according to the deterministic classification of 1991 and based on its seismic history, and in Zone 4 according to the probabilistic classification EC8 of 2011. Barles also faces 4 other natural hazards: avalanche, forest fire, flood, earthquake. Barles is not exposed to any risk of technological origin identified by the prefecture. There is no plan for prevention of foreseeable natural risks for the commune, and there is no DICRIM. Among the major floods that have occurred are the storm of the 18th of August 1739, which caused flooding of Barles and destroyed the embankments and some farmland, as well as flooding the low-lying houses. In 1917, heavy rains caused a landslide that blocked the Barles River. The natural dam could not be reached by workmen and a passage was not cleared until the autumn. Toponymy. According to Charles Rostaring, the name of the area comes from the oronymic Manton root *bar. According to Ernest Negro, who proposed a similar explanation, the name is formed from the Gallic barrow, meaning a summit, and the diminutive ulus, giving the meaning small mountain. According to Rostaring, the place name is pre-Gallic. History. Ancient times. In ancient times the Bodiontici populated the Bieli-Acute-One valley, as did the Gauls who lived in the area of the modern Barles commune. The Bodiontici were defeated by Augustus at the same time as the other peoples living in the Tropium Alpium before 14 BC. Barles was attached to the province of Alpes Maritimes at the time of its creation in 14 BC. Middle Ages. The area appears for the first time in texts in 1193 as Barles. A castle existed in 1206. In 1300, a small Jewish community was established at Barles. A hospital welcoming the sick and travelers was established at Barles in 1351. In the Middle Ages, some taxes were paid collectively by the community. The distribution per capita was the responsibility, and the authorities did not intervene in this distribution. Some taxes were imposed on the Barles community together with Faisal. In the 13th and 14th centuries, Barles depended on the vigour of Dina. The death of Queen Joanna I of Naples created a crisis of succession for the county of Provence. The towns of the Union of Aix supported Charles, Duke of Durazzo, against Louis I, Duke of Anjou. The Barles community supported Charles until 1386, then changed sides to join the Angevins due to the negotiations of Marie of Blois, Duchess of Anjou, widow of Louis I, and regent for the son Louis II of Naples. At the end of the war, Marie of Blois attached Barles to the bailiwick of Seine. At the time, the only routes to the south, opened only to pedestrians, passed through the Pas de Saint-Pierre and Tannerin in the west and Saint Clement, the Pas du Castiau in Esclangen in the east. The most used routes, however, moved to the west and went through Espère and Le Bâtie-Feistel and Orthon. Most of the cultural and economic exchanges were elsewhere in Sisteron, but the habit of usually marrying in the Massif des Monges lasted until the 1900s. Modern times. In 1602 a lead mine was briefly opened in Barles at a place called Les Clusses. The ore also contained silver and copper. In 1614 another concession was granted for the same mine. Excessive deforestation worsened natural climate phenomena such as floods and landslides or mudslides. Landslides in 1746 and 1755 caused the destruction of 20 houses. On the eve of the French Revolution there were two fiefs in Barles, the fief of Barles itself and that of Orsay. Disorders related to the wheat supply crisis and the new tax system took place in 1790. Contemporary period. In 1820, an Italian miner operated a copper mine for a few days. This was the last attempt to mine ore in the commune. In the end none were profitable. Until the 19th century there were no roads in Barles. The nearest road was the Route Nationale 100, from Dina to Coney via the Col du Laboret and Verdex, which was built in 1854. A mule path, communal path number 7, was built around the same time and gradually improved in the 1860s. It was the only road construction in Barles in the 19th century. This path was often difficult to use when the weather was bad, especially the passage through the Isarts ravine after thunderstorms, and Barles was sometimes cut off by landslides. The Clous of St. Clement were traversed by tunnels the width of a mule. As with many communes in the department, Barles adopted schools well before the Jules Ferry laws. In 1863 it had two, installed, one in the main village and one in a hamlet, both of which provided primary education for boys. Although the fallow laws did not require the opening of a school for girls unless a commune had more than 800 inhabitants, the commune instructed the girls in 1863. The lack of roads led to the multiplication of schools. From one for boys in 1863, the commune created 5 by 1881. These were located in the main village, Varques, Forest, Sauvins, and St. Clement. The town benefited from subsidies in the Second Derby law, which were used to build a new school at Sauvins and to renovate the others. The construction of a road through the Barles water gap was initiated in 1882 to link Dinan to Verdeix and Coney. It was inaugurated in July 1913. The construction was long and difficult. Starting in 1891, it covered the St. Clement water gap, which, in 1908, was traversed through the drilling of new tunnels. The opening of the road allowed the creation of a stagecoach service by a Barles innkeeper, which was replaced by a coach in the 20th century. The types of livestock at the end of the 19th century testified to the hardness of farming and livelihoods. There were few horses and oxen were used to work the land. Mules were preferred to work sloping land and light soils. A few years later, the fair, which was held in Barles the Monday following May 16, disappeared. Barlatans preferred to attend the fairs at Orthon, while the people of St. Clement preferred those at Dinan. In the 1950s, roads were built to serve the hamlets that had preserved the use of mules, pack saddles and sleds until that time. Barles appears as Barles on the 1750 Cassini map and the same on the 1790 version. Heraldry administration. List of successive mayors from 1971. Demography. In 2010 the commune had 156 inhabitants. The evolution of the number of inhabitants is known from the population censuses conducted in the commune since 1793. For the 21st century, a census of communes with fewer than 10,000 inhabitants is held every 5 years, unlike larger communes that have a sample survey every year. Population change sources: LDHEHESS Cassini until 1962, INSEE database from 1968. Economy. General overview. The commune lives from logging, farming, sheep farming, and tourism. In 2009, the workforce was 67 people, including 16 unemployed. These workers were mostly employees and mainly worked outside the commune. Most commune businesses are in the primary sector. There are 3 businesses in the industry and construction sector and 9 in service and administration. Agriculture. At the end of 2010, the primary sector had 15 establishments, each with 1 employee. According to the Agrest survey by the Ministry of Agriculture, the number of farms declined in the 2000s from 7 to 6, including 3 breeding sheep. The utilized agricultural area, which increased sharply from 1988 to 2000 and which was 1,047 hectares in 1832, sank in the 2000s to less than 850 hectares. The fall was due to the disappearance of 2 sheep farms in the 2000s. The town is included in the scope of the label Pomme des Alpes-de-Haute-Provence. Industry. At the end of 2010, the secondary sector had 3 establishments without any employees. Service activities. At the end of 2010, the tertiary sector had 3 establishments without any employees, to which can be added 6 administrative facilities with a total of 4 employees. According to the Departmental Observatory of Tourism, the tourism function is important for the town, with between 1 and 5 tourists per inhabitant. Most of the accommodation capacity is non-market. Several accommodation facilities for tourism purpose exist in the commune. 1 campsite with a capacity of 60 sites. 1 Gîtes de France furnished accommodation 3-star with a capacity of 5 beds. Second homes provide an important complement to the capacity, with 58 secondary homes containing 258 beds. Education. The commune has a primary school. Culture and heritage. Civil heritage. The single arch bridge over the Bize dates from 1740. It is built on the old mule road from Dinan to Barles via Tanaren. Holes used to fix the centering during construction are still visible. Religious heritage. The Notre Dame Church was built in 1853 on the site of the former St. Roch Chapel, which was destroyed at the time, to replace the St. Pierre Church. It has an apse at each end of the nave. It retains the name Notre Dame, which was the parish church at the same time as the St. Pierre Church in the cemetery. In the cemetery, St. Peter's Chapel, the old parish church built with grey and yellow stone, was restored in the early 1980s. The chapel of the Priory of St. André at Forest is still the subject of an annual pilgrimage. There is also a priory church at St. Clement. The Notre Dame Church contains many items that are registered as historical objects: a chalice with paten, a monstrance, a cabinet, a banner of the Virgin, a painting Christ on the cross, a painting Assumption of the Virgin, a processional cross, an altar cross, 6 candlesticks, a statue Virgin and Child, a statue St. Joseph, a clock, a pulpit, a bust reliquary St. Clare. Environment. Barles is best known for the Clous de Barles, 2 short, very constricted canyons located on the road below the village. There are similar formations upstream at the Clous de Verdex. Literature. The events in the detective novel Les Courriers de la Mort by Pierre Magnan took place partly in Barles.